So, from what George have been sharing, here's one thing I want us to understand. You see, we have been on a journey where our goal in these 7 days of master classes, taking more than 1 hour of teaching, is for me to give you guys, reveal to you guys frameworks, strategies that I have spent years and hours of testing and experimentation and trying them, and they have come to the place where they worked and they produce results. And the outcome, follow me, hear me very careful. The outcome of these things I'm teaching you guys, the outcome of all the 7 strategies, 7 frameworks I'm going to teach all of you in the next few days is 3 things. The underlying outcome is 3 things. Listen carefully, because if you are being part of this mentorship training every day and you are not seeing these 3 outcomes, then you are not learning. You are not making good use of what I'm teaching you. 3 outcomes. Number one is that your influence should increase in your industry. Number two is that your impact should increase in your industry. And number three, your money should increase. So the first one we talked about the distinctiveness framework. So the question I was asking George and everybody else was, how have you taken the distinctiveness framework, breaking down the pillars and the components of that framework and applying in the work that you do in a way that even you can see that, oh, these strategies, this knowledge that I have been given and I have received, I can see with my own eyes that, oh, if I begin to apply these things I have learned, my influence in my industry, in my nation, in my continent is going to increase. My impact in the lives of people I'm called to serve is going to increase. And of course, the money I make, the amount of money I make. See, listen carefully. I'm going to make a bold statement, very daring, very challenging, which is true. If you take all these 7 frameworks I've been teaching you guys and you don't double your income in a few months, then you are not learning. Then you are not learning. If you are not able to double your income times 2, in other words, if you follow these 7 frameworks and you have been making, let's say, 1 million francs, 500,000 francs every month, and you're not able to double that times 2 in the next few, I want to challenge you, like in the next 4 months, then you are not learning. You are not learning. Because these things I'm teaching you, I am not assuming, I'm not guessworking. These things work and they produce the results. So that's why I was taking that question. So from the distinctiveness framework that we thought on day one, day two we looked at the blue flame framework, and today we're going to look at the authority acceleration blueprint. Again, as I said, these are 7 frameworks, different strategies that you need to begin to look at. Oh, based on where I am right now, based on my journey, based on my purpose, based on my type of business, my type of career, which is the best framework I need? Or which 2 can I combine to implement? Which 3 can I combine to implement? So again, I'm taking us to the underlying facts. All of these things, this long-term training and energy that I've been releasing and doing my best to make sure you guys understand, please, the bottom line, of your life, the bottom line I want you all to get as mentees is this. After listening to me, spending 7 days with me in these master classes, the bottom line is I want your influence to double in your industry, in your nation. I want your impact in the lives of people that you serve, either through your career, business, whatever. Let it double. Number 3, let your income double. Influence, impact, and income. That's the underlying factor. And that's I was asking that question in that direction. So for those that are joining right now, we're having a discussion, a brief one. I was asking everybody else, how are they applying the first 2 frameworks that we have taught so far in this community, and how are they putting it to work already? Right. So I had to lay that foundation. So we understand. So that please, I don't want knowledge obesity. Do not practice knowledge obesity here. People practice knowledge obesity, gather so much knowledge that can change their lives, but they don't deploy it, they don't experiment, they don't try, they don't put it into the things that they do, they don't disrupt what they've been doing in the previous years, because proof of new knowledge is the disruption of your existing operations. Proof of new knowledge, proof that you have received a new strategy, is the disruption of your existing operations. And secondly, there should be a change in your results. You cannot say that, oh, I got new knowledge, but your results stay the same. You receive nothing, basically. Right? So please, let us be conscious. We are not here to waste time. We are not here because, trust me, my time is too scarce. It is literally a gift to have me for 1 hour talking to anybody in this season. It's a gift. It's a rare privilege. So if I've been spending 2 hours kind of with you guys as mentees, like for the next 7 days we're going to be having every single day, is how much I love you guys and I value you guys. And of course, when we enter the mentorship relationship, I made up my mind, like I always tell you guys, when you're a mentee, there's a higher level of commitment that I have for you. And as most of you know, I always take time. I'll pray for you guys, call your prayer careers, call your businesses. It's not only a professional teaching, but there's also a spiritual investment in this. And it's not just, I'm not just doing because I don't have that time to just do. You see, at my level, at this stage in my life, there is nothing in this world I would do to please anybody. Nothing I would do for guesswork. Nothing I would do just for doing it. Nothing. Zero. If I see me doing anything right now till I will die, know that that is one of the most important things in my life. There's a level you get. Guesswork has no place. Wasting of time has no place. There are so many important things to do. I have books I can be writing. I have a wife I can be talking to. I have a family I can be. There are so many things that are very critical in my living as a man. Right? So we are not here to guess what, to assume or to waste time. What am I trying to say? Please do not misuse what you are being taught. Do not trivialize it. Do not be superficial. Pay the price. I always say that one of my passions I always say is that if I teach somebody, let that person go and have sleepless nights for so many days until they are able to understand and apply what they've learned from me. I don't know why I'm sounding this way, but it's like a warning for somebody. So please wake up and do your part and make good use of this. All right. There's so much I have to offer today. So we will please pay the price and implement. You guys are getting things that people pay hundreds of thousands to get 1 hour of it. Just one, sometimes just one framework, one. But I'm giving you 7 frameworks of people. If you combine the monetary value of these 7 frameworks, you should know how much I would charge you to teach one. Then I'm giving you 7 all at once. Okay, let me not continue in that route. What I'm trying to say is, please, don't misuse. Don't misuse it. Don't be superficial. Don't be average. Don't be lazy. Your life is too important. Your destiny is too critical. Your purpose is too valuable. God has invested so much in you that He expects returns on investment in your generation. Be an investment that God will be proud of, and your generation will be proud that, hey, we are happy that we had the privilege that Callista was in my generation. I am happy that I had the privilege that George, Nancy, Melvis was in my generation. That's how I always think sometimes. That I want people to be privileged to know that, hey, they had the privilege of having Joybet in their generation. You should also think like that, be a generational thinker. That should be the way you should look at it. It's going to challenge you and inspire you to do things at the highest level. Okay, let's proceed with the focus for today. So we are still in our process, our journey of me teaching you guys the 7 frameworks that will help you to unlock your high value and, of course, bring you to that place where you will be able, to create impact, produce influence, build wealth, and all of that. And we have been teaching you, and I've been teaching you guys a couple of frameworks, giving you step-by-step processes, things that you can begin to do practically in the current work that you do that can change everything else that you have been doing. And today we are looking at the authority acceleration blueprint. The authority acceleration blueprint. Now, you see, there are a couple of things, and sometimes so many things that I have taught you guys in this community. If there is one, if there is one that I would say, this should never leave your life till you leave this earth, is what I'm about to teach you guys. There's a scenario I always play when I'm developing content, keynote address, training, masterclass, frameworks, strategies like this. I always ask myself, this that you have developed, can the people who will hear this, can they use it for the next 30 years? Follow me. Can they use it for the next 30 years? To know why I do that, please, everybody, add 30 years to your current age. Add 30 years to your current age. You will notice something that will challenge you so powerfully. Who is surprised where you'll be in 30 years? Add 30 years to your current age. How do you feel? What have you discovered? How do you feel like? Now, in other words, you see, 30 years is so significant that if you have a child now that is just 1 year old, in the next 30 years, that child will be 30 years old. Anybody who is 30 now, in the next 30 years, will be 60 years old. Anybody who is 60 now, in the next 30 years, either the person that's gone to heaven or the person is at the outgoing space, of entering heaven. And here's what I'm trying to tell you. Look, listen carefully, everybody. What you will do in the next 30 years defines who you are. What you will do with your next 30 years from today as you listen to me, that is your life. If you added 30 years to your current age and you did not panic, you did not say, wait, is this how much less time I have? You understand how there are some things you can no longer do. You understand what? Sometimes I wonder, does somebody sit and have 2 hours to watch a movie? How do you do that? Like sometimes, and it's every day. Sometimes once a month it's not wrong, or maybe once every Sunday is not wrong. But sometimes there are some people that can literally watch movies or hours every day. What? How do they do that? How is that even possible? Anyway, we're not talking about that. So what I wanted to say is that what I'm about to teach you guys today about the authority acceleration blueprint is one of those strategies that you will need for the next 30 years of your life. So either you take it and run with it, or you listen and let it pass on the other side. And 30 years from now, your life will literally may not be too different from where it is right now. And you will like, wait, what did I get wrong? You got knowledge wrong. You got relevant strategies wrong. You got execution wrong. You got a few things wrong. That's why you'll be where you are in the next 30 years. However, there are things that when you know and you execute, you redefine the rest of your life by default. By default, right? So let me break down the knowledge acceleration framework or blueprint. I always say that you will be paid in direct proportion to the perceived authority of your uniqueness. Let me say it again. You will be paid as a professional, as a job seeker, as a business person. You will be paid in direct proportion to the perceived authority of your uniqueness by the people you're serving, right? Because it is not enough to have a skill. Many people have skills. Many people have very good skills. It is not enough to have a skill. It's not enough to have a gift. It's not enough to have an idea, a business idea. But one of the most important things that you must get right for the rest of your life as an industry leader is to establish authority in your space so that people that you're called to serve, people in your industry, in your nation, in your community, the people you're called to serve can recognize, trust, and pay for your uniqueness at scale. So what am I saying? The components in your career, in your business, in your journey, that will cause people to recognize your unique value, to trust that unique value that you have, and to pay for it, that critical component is called authority. So, understanding the authority acceleration blueprint is one of the most important strategies that you must know in life and always practice it every single day of your life. So, you see, perception is the real currency of authority. That's why I said earlier on that, you see, how people perceive your authority around your uniqueness is in direct proportion to how much they will pay you. So, because perception is the real currency of authority, what people perceive about you. So, George says he's a career coach in Cameroon. That is good. He's a recruitment a consultant and trainer in Cameroon. Okay, that is good. But what is the kind of perception that, you know, job seekers or companies recruiting, what's the kind of perception that they have about you? Because that is the real currency of the authority that you command in that nation. Because authority is not solely about expertise. Please follow me carefully. Expertise is a critical part of the process, but your authority in an industry is not solely about your expertise. But listen, it is about how that expertise is perceived by the stakeholders in your industry. It is about how that expertise is perceived by your clients. All of us here are serving a particular kind of clients. Or for those of you that have jobs, you need promotion in your business. Let me tell you something. The day that your immediate manager or your highest ranking manager, the day they will have the right perception about your expertise is the day that promotion will be easier for you to always get. Except it's a very terrible organization with terrible culture. They do exist. But when you understand that for you to command authority in your business, for you to command authority in what you do, you need to come to that place where your authority is looked upon beyond just your expertise, but there is a kind of perception that the stakeholders have about that authority. Why? Because the marketplace rewards perceived value. Never forget that. Your customers, the people in your industry, they will reward the perceived value that they have about your expertise. So Clotilde is a branding strategist, a branding expert. And the way that small business owners who follow her on Facebook and let's say LinkedIn and Instagram, or even in her community, in her church, or wherever she is, the people that have been able to know about her at this moment, the kind of perceived value that they have about her expertise is the game changer for how much she even charge as far as premium pricing is concerned, and how much she can continue to monetize her branding strategies. And that is why when it comes to these blueprints, this strategy of authority acceleration, the key is controlling the narrative that shapes perception about you. The key, one of your most important things that you have to do every day, all of you listen to me, one of the most important things that you have to do every single day of your career and business is to keep controlling the narrative that shapes the perception that people have about what you do. For example, let's go to foundations. That's why sometimes you consistently posting strategic, fun, unique, tailored content consistently on Facebook for a long time, every day, consistency in doing that. It is part of the strategy in controlling the narrative that will shape the perception that people have about you. Because there's a way you sound in written content, there's a way you sound in how you communicate your thoughts in writing that your followers read. As they are reading consistently from you, there is a kind of narrative shifting that you are shaping about your expertise in their minds. And the day you come out and say, hey, I have a 3 days training and the price is 100,000 francs, you quickly command paying power because you have already controlled a narrative at some point. You see, many people have skills and they cannot command people to pay because they have zero perception in the minds of the people they're trying to sell to. Let me tell you something. There are there are strategies and things that if I package now and put a flyer out and say 200,000 francs, 300,000 francs, people that I know that will pay before asking, but wait, how is it going to work? Because the narrative has already been shifted. That's why I always say that, you see, one of the least worries I have in my life is money. Not because I have enough, but because my goal is always to know things that control money. That's how rich people think. The wealthy don't look for money. They look for things that because money is just a thing. But there are things that when you know, it controls the amount of money that comes into your life literally anytime. And one of those is what I'm teaching you guys today. Understanding authority, acceleration, blueprint. So uniqueness without context is invisible. It's very important for you to understand. Many of us say we are unique. We're very unique in the things that we do, but we are invisible. We are not visible in the eyes of people. Why? Because there's no context. What am I saying? Please don't miss me here. Listen carefully, because I have seen many business people miss out on this. I've seen many professional experts, consultants, coaches miss out on this. That's why I had to add this point. It's a concept I wrote down somewhere. Uniqueness without context is invisible. What does that mean? People won't recognize your uniqueness unless it is framed within a context that they understand now or they will understand later. Let me say it again. People won't recognize your uniqueness, or let me say it this way, people will not pay for your uniqueness unless you have framed that uniqueness within a context that they understand, within a context that they will understand later. That is why when you are crafting content on Facebook, for example, this content I'm teaching right now, I am communicating in a context that people who are within a particular age group, in a particular society, in a particular level can understand. This same content, if you call me to teach this same content to influencers that have, let's say, 500,000 followers and they're making, let's say, 10 million francs every month in income, all of that, they say, wait, I'm going to teach this. That you begin to wonder, wait, is it the same strategy? Yes, it's the same. But the point is, I understand the game. I understand the game of contextualization, of uniqueness. Many of you are struggling in what you're doing because you don't understand the game of contextualizing your uniqueness. That's a challenge. So change from today. all the value that all of you have right now, sit down and properly begin to ask, the way I've been communicating this value, are the people following me, do they really recognize the language I'm using, the words I'm using, the way I'm structuring it? Do they really recognize it? Because nobody will pay for what they don't understand. For example, if you have been in public speaking, for example, that's why sometimes I like physical events the best, because if when I'm teaching a concept, let me tell you guys something. Every statement I make behind the scenes, I have like 5 different ways to communicate the same word, the same sentence, the same concept. So that if I say the first time, I can look at the faces of my audience. If they don't get it, I'll rephrase it. If they don't get it again, I'll find another way to communicate it. Because it's my job as a speaker to ensure that if I'm delivering value, strategies, frameworks, structure, solutions, it is to help the people understand it so they can apply it. Because people cannot apply what they don't understand, same as people cannot pay for what they don't understand. So in what all of you have to do, in what all of you have to offer as experts, as professionals, never forget that uniqueness without context is invisible, same as uniqueness with context equals visibility. So when you communicate your uniqueness with the right context, based on the people who are following you, people who read from you, who follow you in your community, and all of that, if you are doing a messaging on radio, on TV, whatever that you're doing, when you do it with context, visibility becomes easy. Why? Because you now understand that people won't recognize your uniqueness, your product, your service, your value, your solution, unless you have paid the price to frame it within a context that they understand now or they will understand later. And the next point under authority, I'm just introducing the authority acceleration blueprint. Then I'll show you guys the 5 levers, step-by-step process to apply the authority blueprint in the work that you do. I'm still laying introduction as we do this. So authority is built by positioning your distinctiveness as that inevitable solution to an existing desire or problem. Now, this positioning is very important, very, very important, because authority that cannot show that your distinctiveness, your product, your service, your solution, whatever that you have, as the right solution to an existing desire or a problem is going to be shaky, because every human being has a desire. Every human being has a desire. Every human being has a problem. So for all of us here, for those who are in business, for example, everything you are selling as a service or a product, your target audience have a desire, they have a problem. So with this authority framework, you need to build your authority by positioning that your distinct solution or value in a way that lets the people see as an inevitable solution to an existing desire or problem. Practical example of this point I'm trying to explain. Now you guys get it. Okay. Clotilde here is a brand strategist. And Mispa is in the call. Mispa is a weight loss expert, wellness expert, and all of that. Now, Mispa is struggling to get the market to understand the value she brings to the table. Mispa is targeting, I'm trying to create a persona, customer persona in my head right now. Mispa is targeting 30-year-old and above ladies who are corporate workers, and they want to feel confident, have the right body shape, and ensure that when they go to work, they go to corporate events, they go to conferences, they look sharp, they look beautiful, they have the right shape, and everything is intact, boss babe kind of thing. That's what they want to create. That's the kind of things that these ladies want to have. Now, that's the persona that I am creating with this example. Now, that is Miss Pass. She has the offer. She has that offer, that solution that can help any 30-year-old lady and above to be a boss babe that looks good, excellent, confident, high self-esteem, strategic looking, good dressing, everything is intact. But her authority is missing. Now, Clotilde is a brand strategist. And Clotilde knows that if I work with any small business owner, that small business owner will be seen in the right places at the right time by the right people. But she just knows it. But she is not able to position that her distinctiveness in a way that MESPA will see as an inevitable solution to her desire to reach the 30-year-old lady. You see the challenge? That's the problem. So Clotilde's goal should be, oh, how can I position my branding products? Let's say she has a 3-month branding solution that if she applies this solution and work with the customer for 3 months, like MESPA, the people that MESPA is targeting, she's going to meet them. So her goal should be, how do I position this my 3 months branding solution in a way that MESPA will see it as an inevitable solution to her problem of not being seen by the right women? Are you guys getting the concept? Because that's where that authority begins to help you. That's why, see, let me say it this way. Nobody gets authority right and struggles to make money. Nobody. If you get authority right, you will always make money. Money will become one of your least problems in life because you have one of the core components of monetization at your fingertips. That's why I'm taking time to teach this. Please get it. Right? So the goal here is authority is built by positioning your distinctiveness, that 3-month solution, in a way that the person you're targeting will see it as an inevitable solution to their existing problem. So, for example, Clotilde now reached out, let's say, Miss Pana calls her and said, "Hey, Clotilde, I heard that you are such a good brand strategist in Cameroon and you're one of the best. That's what I hear." He said, "Oh, yes. You receive that kind of a call. Your goal is to use authority and build positioning in a way that every word that you say to MESPA is for her to know that you have a branding solution that is an inevitable solution to her problem. Even if she ends up not buying, let her regret for a very long time for not buying a solution. Let her be, let's see, one of my goals I always try to do is that if I sell something to somebody, or if somebody, I do a training, I do a master class, a coaching something, and somebody misses out, let them regret not giving me their money. You know that kind of thing? Let somebody feel bad for not spending money on you. Yes, you can get to that level. We can get there. It's just to understand these things that I am teaching us here. So authority isn't just about having knowledge, but about crafting compelling narrative that makes your expertise memorable and magnetic, what I call M&M. Hear me? So, see using Clotilde and MESPA. So, Clotilde, authority is not just about you having so much knowledge about branding. It doesn't help anybody. It helps only you. It helps you. That's for you to be. You can read 17 books about branding. That's your problem. If you cannot craft solutions from there and package it and communicate it in a compelling way that your expertise, when somebody hears it, is memorable and magnetic, then you are failing as a professional. So what am I saying? Authority isn't just about having so much knowledge in your field. It's good. But it's about drafting a compelling narrative. Let somebody come into your space and you shift their thinking with the way you're going to talk about what you do. You change the narrative that they have. Let somebody come to your space and they had a budget of, let's say, 25,000 to pay you. After 30 minutes of talk, they're the ones that will change pricing in their head. So you see this one, 25,000 cannot, this one like that, they cannot take 25,000 francs. This one, I think, have few be 100,000 francs and above. Why? Because you have shifted the narrative. That's why you see professionals who are good at that stuff don't talk about money, don't charge money the first time. If I'm doing a discussion to sell anything with you, I'm just going to focus on giving you a compelling narrative that at the end, you'll be the one excitedly looking for a way to give me money for the service I have to give you. Right? So for all of us here, what am I saying? True authority. You say like you all want to be authorities in your industries, in your nation, in Nigeria, in Cameroon, whatever you're listening to this for. You want to be an authority in that nation, in your industry. Authority is about you understanding how to craft a compelling narrative because you say you're an authority. Abi, you say you're an authority now. A good authority should shift a compelling narrative, shift things so people listen to you. People hear you when they see your product, when they see your service, in a way that makes your expertise, that's the goal, makes your expertise to be memorable and to be magnetic. Now, after all that introduction now on authority acceleration framework, let me now, this framework now, after all the research and experimentation and practice, I have broken down this framework for you to apply in 5 levers or 5 layers. I prefer levers, right? So the 5 levers of authority positioning. The 5 levers of authority positioning. Lever number 1 is identity alignment. Identity alignment. Again, I always say, when you listen to this, listen, let your brain be working. How does this fit in my current operations? How does this fit to where I want to get my business or my career to, right? Now, identity alignment. Your goal here is for you to become the embodiment of your audience aspirations. You become that picture of their aspiration. You see that? Because authority accelerates when your brand identity measures the desires, the values, and the struggles of your ideal audience. Let me say it again. Your authority accelerates, grows, advances, progress when your brand identity begin to mirror the desires, the values, and the struggles of your ideal audience. Like I said, every audience that you're targeting, they have desires, they have problems, they have values. So there need to be an alignment in that identity. That's why the first framework that after testing is that, hey, if you're going to get authority right, let there be an identity alignment between what you're doing and the desires, values, and the struggles of your ideal audience. Why is this important? Because authority grows, get me very well. Authority grows when your identity mirrors your audience's highest aspiration and self-image. For example, going back to Clotilde and Mespa. Clotilde, the brand expert. Mespa, she runs the weight loss startup, weight loss business. And she wants to grow authority in the minds of people like Mespa. She needs to ensure that as a brand expert, let her identity as a brand expert begin to mirror Mespa's highest aspirations. Sometimes when Mespa comes across her Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, oh my God, I love the way she crafts her flyers. I love the way she carries out her messaging. The way they're engaging on her posts. Look at the number of likes and comments. Look at the way she, right? Let her see and begin to see. These are the things I want to see happening on my business page, on my personal page, as a weight loss business person. Right? Because that's when you begin to impart that authority in her mind. Because Your authority begins to grow when your identity, the things that you do, because you have become the embodiment of the aspirations. Why is this important again? Because from my research and studies in this dispensation and for the next 10 to 20, 50 years, I would like to dare to say, people follow those who represent who they want to become. People follow those who represent who they want to become. That is why, do you notice that very few people ever sit under a teaching of someone that is, below them. You know that, right? That's the funny thing about life. So people always sit under somebody who has either more knowledge than them, more experience, more money, more results, more of these different, things that we got to project. That's the human psychology. Why? Because people follow those who represent who they want to become. So Mispa can be following Clotilde because they're like, hey, she has a very good brand. Her brand is constantly growing. My brand is struggling. So Clotilde represents what I want to become. You see that? People follow those who reflect who they desire to become, not who they are now. Let me tell you, that's what I was talking already about the principle of sameness. You cannot lead your generation when you are the same like them. You cannot do what everyone is doing and expect to lead a generation. No, it doesn't work like that. Why? Because people follow those who reflect who they desire to become, not who they are now. You cannot be the same like Mispa and expect Mispa to follow you. It doesn't work like that. Psychology will not permit her to follow you. Her human psychology will only permit her to follow somebody who is beyond where she is now, so that person can be the bridge between where she wants to be. You get the concept? So leave the transformation you promise. Leave the transformation you're promising. And that's why, you see, your actions must match what you teach or what you say. You cannot claim that strategies work and we don't see them working in your life. See that? So leave the transformation of your promise. So if Clotilde is promising Mispa that, hey, I have a branding strategy that can bring engagement on your social media handles and bring the ladies that need the solutions on your handle, then let Mispa go to her social media handles and see some engagement happening there. That is identity alignment. She has become the embodiment of her audience aspiration, right? So leave the transformation you promise, thereby making your journey a blueprint for others. It becomes easier for you to command authority, right? Another point under this identity alignment is that by aligning your messaging, by aligning your aesthetics, like flyers, logos, all these things that people do, right? By aligning your messaging, your aesthetics, and the persona with your audience aspirational identity. Now, this is very important. In every market, all of you, whatever person you're serving, that human being has what I call aspirational identity. There's a place they want to be. So if your solution can help them get there, good, right? So let's take Rahul and Durant who run the quality healthcare clinic, the private clinic. If anybody comes to the clinic who is sick, they already know that, hey, the aspirational identity of this person is, I want to get well. I want to live here healthy. So when they are working on their messaging, when they are working on their aesthetics, when they're working on their branding, working on their roll-ups, working on their signboards or anything, you see, and working on their persona, it should be able to show their audience that, hey, these people have what it takes to bring me to my aspirational identity, where I want to be. And when you begin to do this, you don't just attract followers, you create loyal advocates, you create loyal customers. Every business has followers and loyal customers. You are safer having loyal people that follow you. So this understanding is important in being able to, build that authority in that. Now, 5 steps to practice identity alignment. 5 steps to practice identity alignment. Number one, I'll quick with this. Number one, audience deep dive. Carry out your audience deep dive. Carry out your audience deep dive. What does that mean? Sit down and begin to research what are the core desires of the people I am called to serve. What are their fears? What are their values? What are their problems? If you're in business listening to me and you have not done an audience deep dive of the people you're targeting to serve, then your business strategy is incomplete. This is one of the core foundations that everything else that you build should stand upon. For those who listen at work, as an example, you can do this for your company, for your boss, for your department, so that you're a unique employee. Begin to ask yourself, hey, what are the desires of my department and the company? What are the fears that my boss have about the business? What are the values? Do a deep dive. Then number two, persona crafting. Step two, persona crafting. Now, this is where you shape your brand persona to align with your audience aspirational identity. So you are building your brand around showing the target audience that, hey, we have what it takes. I have what it takes to help you achieve your aspirational identity. That's persona crafting. So you shape your brand persona because your brand is literally a person too. Also, it's a non-living person, if I may say so, right? So your brand persona needs to align with your audience aspirational identity. For example, your Facebook page can be a brand persona. Somebody can stumble on it. And your Facebook page can speak to the person. They can look at it and say, hey, this Facebook page, the owner of this page, has what it takes to help me achieve my aspirations in business or in career. Number three, language matching. Language matching. Language matching. What does this mean? It means that as an expert, as a business person, you are using the exact language and phrases your audience uses to describe their goals and challenges. Very important. See, let me use our culture to explain this. Many of us love where we come from in our local languages. You see, I'm from Nsot, right? I love Nsot. I love to be a Banso man. There is no tribe that there's no amount of money can give me to say, hey, stop being a Banso man. I will take no amount of money can change that. My being Nsot is more important than any amount of money. So when I travel different countries, if I'm passing, even I do this in Douala, Yaoundé, if I'm passing and I hear two people speaking Lamso, I go and greet them. There's no way I can pass, no way. There's just that magnetism that just happens. I just go and greet them. Sometimes I'll just buy food. I will just in the restaurant and just eat. Let me just talk with people that speak my language. It's one of the most beautiful experiences that I always have. There's no way I can hear. Sometimes I stopped a guy somewhere. He was talking on phone. I stood and he finished speaking and I told him I was just standing here because I heard you speaking Lamso and I wanted us to talk. I just greeted him and we left. Why am I telling this story? Step three of practicing identity alignment is that as a business person, as an expert, you must understand what I call the concept of language matching. Use the exact language and the phrases your audience uses in describing their problem, their goals, or their aspiration. So if Mispa is talking to a lady and she keeps talking about, I noticed that after giving birth, the way my body changed, it affected my low self-esteem and my confidence, and my favorite dresses are no longer fitting me and all of that. Pick it. That those are your weapons. Those are your weapons. When you're giving it back to her in a conversation, fit those keywords back to her. You are shooting bullets into her heart. You have no choice than to buy your service. You get the concept. Number 4, visual consistency. Visual consistency. The fourth process in practicing this identity alignment, visual consistency. So this is where you make sure that you align your visuals, you align your styles, your colors, the way you take pictures, the way you do certain things, as far as visual is concerned, you align your visuals with the emotional tone of your audience. Let them resonate with your visuals. For example, your target market cannot be, let's go back to Miss Pie again, right? Her target market cannot be ladies between 25 and 35, and she has very boring pictures as if she's targeting a 60-year-old market. No, she needs to know how to, you know, create the pictures that she's posting, she's taking, her language, all of that. Let it show that, hey, my market, I'm targeting ladies who are between 25 years old and 35 years old. I'm giving an example. Then for, let's say, Clotilde. Her visuals should be communicated in a way that, a small business owner, a startup, a medium-sized business owner can be able to understand, hey, she's speaking my language. It's so consistent that when I want to do anything, they rush to you first because you are so consistent in your visuals that you now identify with their identity and they identify with your identity. That's the goal of identity alignment in this framework, right? And then the fifth step in implementing identity alignment is what I call aspirational storytelling. Very important step. Aspirational storytelling. This is where, as a business person, as a professional, you are sharing a narrative that shows that, hey, that desired transformation that you want is possible. I have it for myself, or my previous clients have it. That's the meaning of aspirational storytelling. It's a very core part of business in this dispensation. So, I want to use somebody else. We'll go back to George, who is a career coach and all of that. Let's say one of his biggest products is to provide, CV writing, LinkedIn revamping, and interview coaching to those who are looking for jobs. These are 3 core services that he has combined them into one high-level solution. So he's saying that, hey, guys, if you're looking for a job, you come to me. I will revamp your CV. I will revamp your LinkedIn, and I will show you how to apply for jobs, and I'll also coach you on how to do interviews in a powerful way. So now that is a solution. But George must be good at telling aspirational stories in a way that if he has people that have passed through him and have been able to gain success in what he has done, for him to get clients to come buy that solution I've described, he needs to consistently tell aspirational stories of transformation. Let clients that he wants to get, let them see their desired transformation in the life of somebody else. You get the concept. So let someone say, wow, look at what I'm desiring. Somebody already has it. And George helped the person. That's how the mind thinks. Oh, let me go talk to him. I need his services. Because in aspirational storytelling, you are communicating somebody's testimony that is somebody's desired transformation. They'll be like, my goodness, look at what I'm desiring to get in that. I've been trying to get this in the last few months and it's so hard. Look at, he is helping others to have it. All right, let me go to him and pay for his services. Right? So here you're sharing personal stories that mirror their struggles, victories, and you're creating that emotional resonance. So those are the 5-step process that you can practice identity alignment. So that is just level one of trying to implement authority acceleration blueprint. Now, let's go to level two. You see why I said I needed 2 hours, right? Let's go to level two. How's it going so far? I know that I'm sharing some very hard, a lot of value in one head, kind of so much value. Again, thank God that I'll make this video available in the group, but it will not be public. And I'm going after some days, I'm going to deactivate it because there's so much value that I don't, because people don't get to value what is too free. Too free is not good, right? So how is it going so far? Are you guys getting something that is changing something? Do you think that what you have learned so far is going to shift something in your business, career, something? Is it practical enough? That's my desire. Again, as I said, if you listen to me and your influence doesn't change, your impact doesn't change, your income doesn't change, then I'm failing or you are failing me. But me, I don't want to fail anybody. I don't fail. So you should be the one failing yourself, right? So so I am not failing myself. I'm doing my best not to fail myself. So do your best not to fail me. Okay, good feedback. Now, level two, or the second pillar in executing authority acceleration framework. Level two, or pillar number two. Imagine like you're building a house and you need to have core pillars, right? So we have 5 pillars under this framework. And each pillar has a step-by-step process to implement it. So much value. Each pillar has a 5-step process I've created to implement it. So I'm giving you all you need. Imagine that somebody's giving you all his strategies, and the only thing you have to do is to act on it. You don't need to think about anything. Just act on it. Just execute, copy and paste. Right? Copy and paste. I've done the heavy lifting, or the reading, the research, analysis, and all these things. I'm just giving to you for take it and put it in your life and see something different. Okay. Level number 2, thought leadership. Thought leadership. Thought leadership. You see, true authorities, which that's where my desire that we all should get to be true authorities in our industries, in our nations, in our continents, in the global landscape as a whole. True authorities don't just share information about the things that they do. No, they recognize and articulate patterns that others don't see. And that's why this thought leadership level or pillar is important. You cannot achieve authority in your industry without being a thought leader. That's what I'm saying. And thought leaders are people who go beyond information. When they look at something, they are recognizing patterns. They're connecting the dots. They're seeing opportunities. They're seeing what others cannot see. That's what makes you stand out. Because your uniqueness becomes authoritative when you can connect the dots in a way that feels revelationary or revelatory to your audience. It's where you connect things and you communicate it. People are like, my goodness, let me pick George again, who is in career coaching. There's a way that if he's a thought leader in career coaching, let there be a way that he's able to connect the dots in such a practical way. Let a client come to me and they didn't know that, hey, look, there is a way that you can revamp your LinkedIn. And there's a way that you can link up what you say in your LinkedIn with your CV, right? And there's a way that you can craft your messaging during interview that if a recruiter sees LinkedIn, sees your CV, and hears the way you talk, they will not doubt that you're an expert. See that? So George has gone beyond information, and he's building strategies and patterns that connects dots that shows revelation, shows that this guy is an expert, is a thought leader at what he's doing, right? So thought leaders create, they don't consume. If you're a thought leader, you create, you don't consume. Like I always say many times, there are many things that even when I teach you, the frameworks, the way I structure it, you will not find, you don't go and Google search and find sometimes the names I give to my things are names that I sit and I think about it and I give them. So if you go and look for the same strategy on Google, you will not see it. Because these are years of thinking and practice and analysis and all of that to ensure that you get something that makes sense. So in this pillar number 2 of practicing this framework, you need to understand that as a thought leader, one of your responsibilities in your industry is about you coming to that place where you create mental models. You create, new stuff that it's not just about repeating existing knowledge. No, it's about contribution. You're a contributor. Let a client talk to you and they're convinced that, see, what this lady has, I will not find it anywhere. If I will find someone like her, it will be very rare. So you know what? Instead of going through the hard work of looking for someone like her that I may not see, let me just pay her price and let it be. You see, people can pay you against their will, but they'll pay you nonetheless because they're like, look, from her own solutions, the way she presents it, the way she's talking about it, I don't think from the people I've been talking to, no one else is at her level. She's on her own whole new level. Even though she's expensive, I'll pay. Have you heard statement like that? Even though he's expensive, I'm gonna pay. Do you know why? That's the game, because you're a thought leader. There's a way that you're creating mental models. You're not just repeating what others are repeating on the internet, what stakeholders are repeating on the internet. You're a contributor. You can take an existing strategy and you break it down, you analyze it, you balance stuff, and you make it better. You contextualize it. Because you know what, people don't do this because it's hard work. It's a lot of hard work. Like the content I'm teaching you guys. If I tell you how long I've gone through this content over and over, this is years of trying to articulate, practice, experimentation, research, and all these things. So this is not a one day thing. It's not a 2 weeks work. It's not a 3 weeks work. It's not a few months work. It's not. So this hard work, many don't want to do it. Many don't want to spend 4 hours reading, thinking, analyzing, reading, thinking, analyzing, reading, thinking, analyzing. Many don't want to do that. They don't want to do that because it's hard work. But you have to do that. You have to do that. Because if you're in this community and you say you're my mentee, you have been implicated. You are not like the rest. You are forbidden, you are rebuked, you are, in short, what's another word? It is an abomination for you to be like them. You have been implicated to be different, to be unique, to stand out, and to be a thought leader by default. If you don't go and change, my voice will be ringing in your head. Right? You don't go and change. You hear my voice, this bouncer voice ringing in your head. Why am I disappointing this man? Why am I disappointing this man? Why am I disappointing this man? Right? So you have been implicated. You are not like the rest. This is something I always tell myself, Joybert, you are not like the rest. You cannot think like that. You cannot behave like that. You are not like them. Who are the them? The masses, the average people, whatever you want to call them. I don't care. Those are the them I'm talking about. But not you. You are forbidden, you are rebuked, you are disciplined, you are shouted upon. Thank God that I'm talking to mentee, so I have the permission to shout, Abby. So don't do that. It's not for you. You are condemned, you are implicated to be a thought leader. That's your path. That's your path. That's your path. You're not an average person. Forbidden to being an average person. That's not you. That's not your calling, not your destiny. God did not put that in your life. So don't take it. Don't go and take what doesn't belong to you. Okay? Good. So, as a thought leader, one of your goals in your industry, in your journey should be, how can I transform perspective? For example, there is a way that recruitment is being done in Cameroon. There's a way branding is being done in Cameroon. There's a way private health clinics are being done in Cameroon. For everybody else, there's a way certain things are being done, right? But because you're a thought leader and you have this kind of knowledge, one of your goals should be, how can I transform the perspective of how they do these things? How can I help my audience see solutions that they did not know that they existed? You get the point? That should be your goal. So you're challenging conventional thinking, you're challenging conventional ways of doing things, you're challenging old ways of doing things by introducing new mental models, new action models, mental models, action models. You are introducing them to shift perspective in the lives of your clients, in the lives of the people you are called to serve. So you are not just, you see, that's what I was saying, that this kind of thought leadership needs hard work, paying the price. Sometimes I'm talking with my wife, and she'll just say, "You know what? Let me drop and call you later. Your head is not here." Because sometimes if she calls me and I was in the thinking and meditation more analyzing, so if she called me, I must pick her call. She's my wife, of course. The only person that can interrupt me whatever I'm doing. That's the law. I don't care who you are. She has the right, right? So if she calls me and I'm doing anything, I have to pick it out. So, but if she calls me and I was already in a deep level of thinking and looking at things and trying to merge things here and there, I will try to communicate, but to leave where I was in my head, to be present, becomes a challenge. So sometimes she will perceive, she will not say, "You know what, call me later, but let me just go," and she'll just drop and all of that. What am I trying to paint a picture? Because it is hard work. Why am I saying so? Because, hear me, guys, it takes intellectual rigor, intellectual hard work for you to stand out in a sea of generic advice. You're going to put some work. That's why it is thought leadership. You are leading in your thoughts and then in your actions. And here's the point. Thought leadership does not happen overnight. It is a journey. It's a daily journey. It's a daily process. That's why people understand thought leadership frameworks. If they have a structure that they follow every day, they've been doing it for 20 years, there's a way they think at a high level that somebody who has been doing it just for 10 years cannot think. You see that now? So, but you need to pay the price in that particular level. Now, 5-step process to, no, this one is 6 steps process to practice thought leadership in your career, in your business, in whatever that you are doing. Number 1, identify market gaps. Identify market gaps. All of us, we are playing in industries where there are market gaps. All of us. We are playing in sectors where there are market gaps. So find where there are existing narratives that have failed or that have left questions unanswered or that are not producing results. Find them. Pinpoint unaddressed pain points in the lives of people that nobody is trying to address. Pinpoint outdated patterns or paradigms that nobody is trying to address in your industry. Pinpoint it. It's going to take some hard work, but you need to do it. So step 1 is identify the market gaps. And this way, where again, there's hard work. For example, there are things that if I'm contributing on now, there are frameworks that before I bring it to public to teach, sometimes I'll go and read materials published like 50 years ago, 70 years ago. I will read research documentations released by research professors from different universities or think tanks or different NGOs. I would read all of this because you don't just sit and you assume market gaps. You need to read from other players in the industry and begin to see. You see that now? So you need to pay the price to identify the market gaps. So Clotilde in branding, Mespa in well-being and weight loss, all of these people, different sectors. What are the market gaps? in your industry, in your sector, because you cannot be a thought leader when you have not identified a gap that your solution that you will create, your signature solution, which is step two. Step two, develop signature framework, develop a signature solution to address that market gap. So you need to pay the price now. Sit down. Okay, I have discovered this gap. This is the data. This is what others are talking about this gap. This gap is still there. Clients are complaining about this gap. Okay, what it is my responsibility as a top leader to develop the solution for this gap. See, this step of thought leadership, when you get it right, is one of the places that you can command premium pricing and a good amount of money, right? Because people now begin to pay you to come speak in their events. For example, if you want to be a speaker, or clients begin to pay you because you have a signature. That's the word I use, signature. Not a solution that somebody can quickly find on Google. No, it's not a signature. You have something, a signature framework, a signature solution that nobody can copy anywhere easily. So clients now effortlessly pay. For example, if you are, let's say, Clotilde is having a conversation with Durance. Durance, they run a private clinic. And their goal is that, hey, we want our clinic right now to have the kind of perception that government leaders, directors, company owners, can come to our clinic. We want to change the perception of our clinic from a community local clinic to an urban, not really an urban, private clinic that has what it takes to serve the needs of people that are not in the lower class, the people that are either in the middle class or upper class. They want to step it a notch up, and their goal is that, we have been serving people in the lower class, and we want to start charging more. And when you want to charge more, you need to change who you're serving. Charge more to people who can pay. So that's that discussion. They now come to Clotilde. Clotilde cannot be driving a discussion around strategies that they can easily just see happening on Facebook or see happening on on Google easily. No. She needs to start driving a conversation around, hey, I am a hard worker. Sometimes you can just have a discussion. Oh, you know what? One of the things I did a few years ago during one of my seasons was that I just took some time just to begin to research to see how the markets behave around this. Let's say, hey, this person, when she's coming to solve her problem, she's not assuming. She has done the wet lifting. She has done the dirty work. She knows the market. She knows how Cameroonians think. She knows what they like, what they don't like, how they react, what they don't. She knows what she's doing. And her discussion is around a signature framework that she has created for brand perception shifting, that only her framework can help Durance to have that brand perception shifting. You see that now? So you're creating unique solutions, unique models, unique frameworks or methodologies that simplify complex ideas or complex problems. And you are developing this signature framework based on the market gap that you identified. All of us here, we have the ability to do that. We just need to pay the price and do the right research, observation, study, ask questions. It's going to help you. When you do that, number three, challenge the norms. A good thought leader challenges the norms in the industry. Challenge the norms. Share insights that disrupt conventional thinking while offering a better strategy, a better solution. Challenge the norms. For example, what are the popular norms that have become so conventional in your field? Every other professional seems they don't care about it. It's just normal. But when you look at it from a thought leadership perspective, you begin to see, no, we can do better than this. There's a better way to solve this problem. There's a better way to do this. And you don't want to challenge the norms. You are offering a better solution. And it is in that offering or in that revelation that you can even begin to charge better. That, hey, this has been existing. It is wrong. There's a better way to do this. And I have the better way out of it. You see that now? You pick a norm. This is not a gap. It's different from a gap. You pick a norm. It's existing. They're managing it. They're using it. But you have seen that, hey, this existing norm, this is something that this is 2025 now. We should not be doing this now. This should have ended in 2010, right? But that's it doing in your industry right now. You begin, you know what? I'm going to challenge the norm and I'm going to create a better path, a better solution for it. You pay the price, you think through, you analyze it, you ask questions, you craft it, you test it, you experiment it. If it works, bam, you now say, okay, hey, you look for, this is a level where for those who are bold enough, you create things and you march into offices and do presentations. This is a level where you operate from. This kind of value, you don't do it and wait and begin to post some funny things on Facebook and expect people to come to you. No, average people come to you. When you do this kind of thing, you are the one that go and knock doors because you're confident in what you have created. When you go to these offices, you paint what have been there. Look, these are the existing norms. These are the existing problems. This is what you guys have been managing and having headaches upon. But I have a better solution. You don't tell them your solution. You tell them the outcomes that your solution can create. With my solution, if I implement in your company in the next 7 days, in the next 8 days, in the next 9 days, these are the results that you will get. So I'm encouraging somebody, go and challenge the norms in your setup. Number 4 step is content multiplication. We are in a content generation. If you are in any business, you are a professional in whatever setting, if you are not creating content, you are not serious with your destiny and with your career. We're in a content generation. Content is the new oil. Content is the new gold. Content is the place where the kind of content that you put out demonstrates the kind of authority, the kind of expertise that you command. So for you to be a good thought leader, you must not only create content, but you must be a content multiplicator. What does that mean? Find a way to turn one idea into multiple formats. For example, let's say that we are not talking here about because we need to know the difference between our premium ideas and, of course, other ideas that you can freely share in public. For example, I have so many high-value strategies that you will never see on Facebook. You will never see on social media. You will never see on LinkedIn, on YouTube. You'll never see that. But if you go, like for example, my YouTube right now has more than 1,000 videos there. And there's so much value that people, when they consume, they're like, what? This is so good. I'm like, hey, it's not even 40% of some things I have that I want to teach in private to some people that pay for it. You see that now? But what am I saying? You pick those contents that you can put in public and you multiply the content format. We honestly be good at that. So you take one idea content, you have a written article about, let's say, 300 words. For those who like to read structured article, because we all have followers that are, some people are structured thinking, but like me, for example, I am not impressed with 30 seconds video. It doesn't inspire me. I am a deep thinker. I like to go, and there are many people like that. So when you have one idea, it's an expert, right? You create a long article around it. You can create a 15-minute video around it. You can create a 1-minute video around it. You can create an infographic around it. You can create a carousel around it. The goal is to create deeper impact with that idea. Thought leaders are doing that right now, and this is the way to go for the next coming number of years. That is why, if you're a thought leader, please, if you're here and you're serious about your career and what you're doing, please learn how to write. And you learn how to write by writing. Learn how to write. Learn how to speak on video. Learn how to write. Learn how to speak on video. learn how to write. And every other content surrounds around learn how to write, learn how to speak, learn how to write, learn how to speak. Very important. Do that. You cannot claim to be a thought leader who desires authority in your industry, and you cannot write, you cannot articulate your thoughts well, and of course, you cannot communicate them well in a way that somebody understands. Number 5, create conversation and not monologues. Create conversations and not monologues. What does that mean? Encourage dialogue around your ideas to build community-driven authority. Somebody I've seen doing that so well on LinkedIn is Clotilde. I stumbled on some of it. I noticed that you were doing, when I came back on social media, you are doing audio, LinkedIn audio, where you bring other branding experts and you guys have an audio call or audio event, right? That's good. That's one of the core things that thought leaders do. You create conversations and not monologues. You encourage dialogue around ideas to build community-driven authority. Because when you begin to create conversations like that, and when you do those kind of events, make sure that you're talking sense. When you let people, when they hear this, hey, this lady is not just organizing events, but she knows her stuff. She's bringing something new. That's the meaning of creating conversations. So sometimes you can look at a norm happening in the industry. You craft a question around that norm and then bring it to the public. Hey guys, let's have a discussion around this. What do you think? Or you look at a current solution or a norm. You say, hey guys, what do you think? In the next 15 years, do you think that this solution will be relevant in the next 15 years? You see, you're creating conversations around that. And then lastly, because the more conversations you have around topics in your industry, the more you're getting eyeballs. Hey, she or he knows what he's doing. The kind of conversations and questions and discussions that he or she is having is good. And then in those kind of conversations, you can begin to sell too. And because you can mention your services, your products, your offers, and people, when they hear you, they can come to you and they can pay for it. And lastly, iterate and evolve. Iterate and evolve. Continuously refine your ideas based on feedback and emerging trends. Don't be stagnant. A thought leader is always iterating, is always evolving based on, the new ideas you're having, based on the feedback you're getting from clients and stakeholders, based on emerging trends. You're always evolving. Don't be stagnant. I always say that, look, personally for me, the me that spoke to you guys yesterday is not the same person today. Never, never, ever, ever. I have a personal law. There are a number of pages that I read every day. That's the standard. So the mind that spoke to you yesterday, not the same mind today. That's law. And it's a simple principle, because the more you advance in the quality of your thinking, you advance in value creation and you advance in money making. Simple as that. It's simple math, simple framework, simple strategy, right? So iterate and evolve based on refine your ideas, perfect them. Don't leave your ideas just hanging. For example, talking about, let's say, weight loss solutions for ladies above, 30 years old. When Miss Park created it, she must not be stagnant. Maybe she can decide and hey, you know what? Let me organize Sunday hangout party for my clients. You see, she's refined the idea. So instead of just coming to her for weight loss coaching, self-confidence gaining, cutting down, changing their eating habits and all of that, she now said, hey guys, as you're joining this, please, after 3 months, I always organize a hangout party and I give certain dress code so that they say where you guys dress, so that the way you look in the event is going to show me if, my services are working very well. You see that now? She's refining the idea, making it more exciting, more fun, more recreational, and all of that. If you want to take it further, she notices that she's dealing with so many single women, because you know what? I would like to start organizing a blind date event. You see, you just keep refining, just keep rhetoric it. You iterate, you evolve. And the more you iterate and evolve, the more you make money. You see that? So many people get to be stagnant in their income because they don't iterate, they don't evolve in what they are offering. So that is the second lever, the second pillar in, practicing the authority acceleration blueprint. How's it going so far? Is it too much already for you guys? Ready for more? We still have two to go. Two to go. Hopefully we're going to finish that. And because I'm trying not to skip points so that I give you guys all. Again, as I said, you need more than one time to really capture. Nobody here can listen to what I'm teaching. I'm taking years, so much of strategies to give you in one sitting. So you cannot learn all at once. Take what you can take in your notepad, but please go. This is a video that you can listen to over and over and over until you get what you want to get and apply in your business. All right. The third lever, the third pillar in you, practicing authority acceleration framework is strategic presence. Strategic presence. Strategic presence. Strategic presence. Very important, especially in this dispensation. I think some points I've even shared on that thought leadership touch some of this, but I'm going to explain more. Now, you need to master strategic presence. Presence isn't about being everywhere. Strategic presence is about being highly visible where it matters most. It is about being highly visible where it matters the most. So I am tempted to ask all of you a question, especially business owners. Where does it matter the most for you to be? The easiest way to get the answers to this question is, where are the highest number of my target audience hanging out? Then that is where your presence matters the most. That is where you must be highly visible. So you need to create an ecosystem. You need to create a system around you that enhances your visibility. So the goal is, how can you create an ecosystem that connects multiple visibility channels into a cohesive authority building machine? And all of us here must have what I call a cohesive authority building machine. For example, the way I'm building before I stepped out on social media, but as I'm coming back on social media fully in the next week, no, I'm not on social media yet, so fully. I'm just kind of here for now. But one of my strategies is that I've been doing that before I left social media, took a break. But my goal is to create a cohesive authority building machine where there is, when you look at my channels, my social media channels, you look at LinkedIn, because my clients are there. You look at Facebook, you look at YouTube. These are my top 3 platforms that I'm focusing on: LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, social media. Instagram will be there. Thinking of TikTok videos on personal development, thinking of working on that. But the goal is to bring all these channels into one big moving machine for authority building. So you're strategic. You're creating that. You're not just, you're not just posting on Facebook and LinkedIn, and it's just not just posting for excitement, because don't post like the masses, right? No. You are a top leader. You're a strategist. You're somebody on a mission. So your strategic presence must be something that you have. There's a well thought out process that you're following to build that cohesive authority building machine. So in other words, the question I have for you is, for those of you that are very engaged on different platforms, let's say you're engaged on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Let's say these are your channels. I have a question for you. How are these channels working together as an authority building machine? How are you structuring the two together? You see, It works in a way that, for example, if somebody sees a short video of you on TikTok, and they're like, I like what this lady is saying. Let me go check her on LinkedIn and see if she has more deeper thoughts on LinkedIn. You see that now? Because it's an ecosystem that you have. But if you are posting videos on TikTok, for example, except you're posting nonsense and how you look and funny things that doesn't add value to your destiny, okay, then it's fine. But if you are trying to do something that makes sense, if somebody listens to a 30 minutes, a 30 seconds video on TikTok, and they're like, I like what she's saying. Let me go check on LinkedIn or Facebook. Or let me just check her on other social media platforms and see if she has some more, deeper perspective on what she's talking about. What will they find? What would they find? It's the meaning of a cohesive authority building machine that you need to create. So you are visible where your audience is visible, both online and offline, without overextending yourself. What that means is don't be in unnecessary platforms. Be in platforms where you are certain that, hey, many of my clients, they are here. If I focus 80% of my energy here, I will make a lot of impact and a lot of money. So please, if you will succeed in authority acceleration as a professional and as a business person, please, you need to understand strategic presence. Strategic presence, because your perceived authority is amplified by your presence. And this presence can also be by association. It falls under here. Strategic presence can also be by association, because I've come to learn that proximity to power accelerates authority. Proximity to somebody who is powerful. Let's say you get a picture with, a senator, as a popular senator or prime minister, or, just somebody that people know and they follow. And it's not just kind of because, for example, a picture with a musician doesn't work under this concept. But a picture with somebody that commands some level of power in what they do and is somebody that people know, because proximity to power accelerates your authority, right? Because your perceived authority is amplified by your association to people that matter. But it's not a must, because this is one of those, is a good point, but it's also optional, because not everybody may have the chance to meet influential, powerful people. But should in case you meet, or should in case you have access to, you can also use it for your strategic presence. Because being visibly connected to respected figures or brands or even movements or events allows authority to rub off through what they call the halo effect, right? Because strategic proximity fast tracks credibility. Now, let me use something that everybody can do. I mentioned here movement, right? Let's say, okay, International Women's Day is coming up. Now, that is an international day. It has attention. Everybody talks about it to a certain extent. Somebody who is practicing strategic presence and trying to practice proximity to power accelerates authority will do this. So, Clotilde can now say, because of International Women's Day, I am going to organize a 3-day brand building consultations for 10 women to help them amplify their brand as a result of International Women's Day. Then every content that she's creating between now and that time that she will do the consultations is mentioning the word Women's Day. And while she's creating, when she's posting the content, she's tagging United Nations Women Organization. She's tagging every reputable women organization in the world and in the country. That is proximity to power that will accelerate her authority. There are people that will discover her. So she's so good that she can do an event around International Women's Day, targeting on the women, and she's even tagging United Nations women. You see that now? That's the concept. Same for, let's say, Durant running a clinic. They can start to do an outreach or something, and they attach it to an International Day. They can attach it to something, whatever. They can do that. It's going to help them, right? To build that strategic presence. And in the minds of people that are seeing it, they're seeing beyond their content. They're seeing, oh, Women's Day, UN nations being tapped. They're seeing different things, and that is playing a very big role in their perception about you. And then lastly, under this point of strategic presence, and then I give you the 6-step process to implement it, is what I call understand the scarcity paradox. In strategic presence, understanding scarcity paradox is very important. Let me explain. At some point, the more accessible you are to every kind of person, the less authority you will command. At some point, accessibility is good. But at some point, try to put in scarcity paradox. And I'm going to explain how you can use this in different levels. Because high perceived authority often comes from intentional scarcity, where you begin to limit access, you limit availability, you limit attention to increase perceived value. You see, let's say, let's go back to Clotilde's example. She's organizing brand building consultation events. And instead of just leaving it open for women, she creates a scarcity paradox around it. She now say, hey, this particular brand building consultation masterclass, I am looking for only 20 women who are 30 years and above, and they have at least 3,000 followers on all platforms. And they have a product that they want to sell. Now, these 4 conditions already cut off millions of other women, and they cannot fit in that. She's practicing scarcity paradox. Oh, Clotilde is so good at what she does that she knows who she's serving. She's not for everybody else. You see that concept? It plays somebody who will not be there. They will put you at a certain level in their head. Wow. I need to work hard, though. If not, I cannot be a client to Clotilde. You get that concept. People working. So this is where you can, this particular scarcity paradox can be around some of your high premium value stuff. Let me give another example. Let's say that we go to Raul and Durance in their clinic. Maybe at some point they're able to make some money. They can extend and build an additional VIP section of the clinic. And this session, people can access it. Consultation to enter this session is 50,000 francs. Whether you have headache, leg headache, stomach headache, whatever headache that you have, you are not passing here if you cannot, afford this consultation fee. It's not for you. You see that? And in this particular, section, when you are done what we're doing, we're going to give you fruits that you take to your house worth 10,000 francs. And this fruit will give you based on your metabolism, based on what you are sick of and what you're going through. Scarcity paradox in play. So people are coming, they know that, hey, there's a place in this clinic that, hey, it's only for people that know what they're doing, right? And in that clinic, they know that, hey, when you pass in this section, you have 2 nurses that are waiters. Like go to a high-class restaurant, there's always a waiter standing. Their job is just to watch you eat, right? So in that section, there's a nurse. Whether you're sleeping, whether you're eating, there's a nurse standing like a waiter. If you cough, that nurse shakes, hey, are you okay, sir? What do you need? If you shake your head like that, they say, is your head okay? Right? But they have created something, a perspective that people know that, hey, this section, Okay, I need to work hard to get there. People love it. People love people. Some people may not earn it, but they were like, hey, the way these people have these segmentations, they're a very good clinic. Even though I cannot afford that high level, let me come and enjoy what I can afford now. Someday I'll get there. That is scarcity paradox. Many of you like that. Have you never been? Have you seen something that you wanted to be part of, but the conditions cut you off from it? And anybody experience that? But you cannot stop thinking about it. It's working on your psychology. Working on your psychology so hard, right? For example, I have a training I'm going to launch for business owners where there are strategies on how to optimize profit and double your income in your business in 4 months if you practice a strategy. And I'm going to cut it out. You must have a business that have at least 2 employees. If your monthly income is less than 5 million, I don't want to see you in that training, right? So I'm going to do the cutting like that and then put it out there. Particular set of people are going to come for it, and I'm creating scarcity paradox. Those who don't have those conditions, they're like, wait, I've missed Dr. Joybert's strategy session. My goodness. Next time, if I publish an event that is cheaper with no conditions, they'll flood after it because they're like, finally, he has what I can afford. You see the concept? Yes, it's a long-term game around your ecosystem. Now, 6 steps process. My goodness, it's already almost 2 hours. And I still have 2 things to share. Okay, God help me here. I'll be fast right now. I may skip some things that I didn't want to do because, like I said, authority acceleration is something that you will need for the next 30 years. You will need for the next 30 years of your life. For those who are not there, for those who joined when I did that exercise already, I asked people to add 30 years to their current age. And some people are surprised, like, wait, do you mean that in the next 30 years I'll be 60 years old, mommy? Yes, you'll be a 60-year-old mommy. Guys, in the next 30 years, you will not be talking about 6 packs, so your big belly will be like that, very heavy. So you need to be serious right now and make good money. So that when you have big belly, you also have big accounts. Okay? Good. So 6 steps process to implement strategic presence as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a professional. Number 1, platform prioritization. Platform prioritization. Prioritize. I always encourage people, choose maximum 3 platforms where your audience is most. Don't choose the platforms that you like. Many business owners are like that. I love me on Facebook, yeah. I love me on media one. You are not a business person. What you like is not important sometimes in business. It is what they like. So under platform prioritization, choose maximum 3 platforms where your audience is most active. For example, somebody like Mespa, she has to get TikTok right, Instagram right, and of course Facebook right. And at some point, if she has the bandwidth, LinkedIn right. But for now, if you target, those, because most people that want to do what she needs, people want to look good in public appearance, all of that, she can be there, right? So find yours. Do your analysis based on the type of clients I'm looking for. Where are my clients the most? Are they more on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram? Are they more on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram? Find it. Prioritize platform. You cannot do strategic presence without prioritizing it. A sub point under this is also prioritize the kinds of physical events that they attend. This is where you can prioritize and decide to be a sponsor of those events and go put your roll-up and your marketing materials there at a table and project what you do. Let them find you there, right? So do that. Number 2, create a visibility ecosystem map. Create a visibility ecosystem map. What does that mean? Simple. Connect platforms for seamless audience flow. Connect platforms for seamless audience flow, right? So an example, Like if you look at my videos on YouTube, I try to always encourage people to subscribe to my newsletter. That is an visibility ecosystem map. YouTube, go to my newsletter because it is safer to have people's emails because YouTube can shut down. YouTube is border platform. Facebook is border platform. Instagram is border platform. So sometimes you can create, for example, let's say Miss Pie again, for example, she can decide and say, you know what, we're going to create an ecosystem map where anybody that engage with us, we're going to get their WhatsApp. Let us have their numbers. Let's have their mobile numbers. So in case one day WhatsApp shuts down, we can do texting and reach them. You see that now? You begin to look up, find a way to have a visibility ecosystem. That means you're able to connect platforms for seamless audience flow. If people follow you on Facebook, how can you move them to your WhatsApp group? How can you move them to a private group where you can, lead them and serve them and have control over them, controlling quotes where you can, meet them and serve them better, right? So always think of visibility ecosystem map. Let's say for Durance, we have a private clinic. People most of the time come to the clinic for services, but when they come, do you have a system to collect their contact effortlessly, that you can use this contact with their permission to reach out to them and send updates in creating a WhatsApp channel or WhatsApp channel or mass SMS, part of that ecosystem. Visibility ecosystem map, do that is very important. So the goal is, how do we move people from different platforms like TikTok? TikTok is a very noisy, fast-paced platform. So how do you do that? How do you ensure that the people that engage in your TikTok videos, those are on TikTok, how do you move them from TikTok? Because people just go on TikTok, begin to watch videos and begin to scroll, pop, pop, watch. Some of you do that here, right? Pop, you know what? Before you know, 2 hours has gone watching all kinds of funny, useless videos, right? If somebody stands on their video, do you have a message, a word, or a couple of words that can cause them to leave TikTok and give you their email or their phone number in one way or another? That is visibility ecosystem map. Number 3, under strategic presence, which is important, is what I call signature content pillars. Signature content pillars. Now, this is very important in strategic presence. Define 3 to 5 core themes that anchor your brand presence. You cannot be an expert professional business person when you post any kind of content on your handles. No, you're not practicing signature content pillars. I want to challenge all of you. If you want to write on what are the 3 things that you want to talk about on your social media platforms? Top 3 things, nothing else. Top 3 things. Even if you are creating fun videos fall under these 3 things. It's very important. That's what I call signature content pillars. Define 3 or 4 core themes that anchor your brand presence. When somebody comes on your channel, on your handle, wherever, if they spend a few minutes, they will see very easily, apart from reading your bio, when they read your bio and read your contents, there's an easy connection. Oh, what she has been talking about in the last few days, last few months relates to what she says that she's doing, right? So if Clotilde says that she's a brand strategist and brand solution expert, when somebody reads that, when they look at the content that she's creating, let it be clear that, hey, the content she's creating surrounds around the core themes of branding and marketing and advertising and what have you. And then number 4 is consistency engine. Create a consistency engine. This simply means create a schedule, an automation tool for those who can afford it. For example, there are automation softwares that you don't post on platforms. You post on the software and you give it timings and all of that, and the software begin to post on your behalf, even when you're sleeping, if you want to do so. You can get to do that when the time comes. But if you cannot afford that yet, Your consistency engine can be that, you see, as an expert, you're going to post every day at 9 o'clock in the afternoon and in the evening. I always say, if you're serious with your brand, post at least 3 times a day. Have morning content, afternoon content, evening content. Consistency engine is important for steady visibility. Why? Because consistency builds familiarity and trust. And we know that there are some content that you will share and there'll be no like, there'll be no comment. It's okay. There are some that you will share and there'll be likes and comments. Your job is to maintain consistency. Comments and likes, the number of them that you get should not define your consistency. You need to come to a point where likes or comments or not, one of the laws is that I will consistently do what? Release quality content that pulls people to my solutions, to my value, and shows them that I am an authority in my field. Number 5 is leverage PR and media. Leverage PR and media. Know how to leverage PR and media. What does that mean? Most of you we need to be bold enough to secure guest spots and features and interviews to amplify your reach. Be bold enough to reach out to a radio and say, hey, interview me. This is what I do. Can you interview me? I'm not saying I should shout at them, or be strategic in your conversation. If there's a podcast person, if there's a newspaper, boldly reach out to them. There's a TV program, reach out to the producer or to the host. Tell them, hey, I would like to come on your show and talk about my business and what I do. Some may charge so expensive you cannot afford, it's fine, let it be. Look for the free ones. But the point is leverage PR and media. Master the game of media partnerships. How can you collaborate with podcast hosts, with publications, show hosts to expand your reach? So many of them are free because show hosts are looking for good content. If you can talk well, you have what is interesting, reach out to them and tell them, hey, I have what is interesting I want to share with your audience, and you need a guest. I'm a good guest, you're a good host. Can we partner and do something very, very interesting? So please leverage PR and media for strategic presence. Very important. And lastly, master event presence. Master event presence. This is where you're either a participant, you're either invited to speak, or you can host your events. Make sure you fall within these 3 categories of people. When it comes to events presence, if you're not a participant, be a speaker. If you're not a speaker, be the host. Because events presence are very powerful in strategic presence. And make sure that you're only a partaker of events that align with your brand and with your audience. I'm not saying that should be in every event. No, that's not you. The events that you're part of are events that align with your brand and with your audience. And let me also talk about strategic events. There are some events that you will go there just for the sake of what they call strategic attachments. For example, if World Health Organization office is organizing an event in Yaoundé, Durance can decide to attend so that she can just get content from there, pictures, right, that she can use on the social media platforms and just prove that, hey, I participated in the World Bank, the World Health Organization event in Yaoundé office, Those kind of posts creates authority and visibility, because when people see that, like, hey, so she can attend this kind of events in this kind of places. So you see, it's related to healthcare, but it's also a high standard organization. So it creates a lot of value. I'm saying this because it has worked for, there are many events that when I was in Cameroon, and I still do it now, I'll go and attend events sometimes in governors' offices or certain kind of offices just for the sake of getting visual content that I will use on social media, because I know how human psychology thinks. There are people that when they see pictures in certain places, in certain events, they don't care what you went to do there. As long as you can be there You're a serious human being. You know what you're doing. That's the concept, right? So tap into that. It's going to help you. Now, it's already more than 2 hours of this. I still have 2 points to share under this level. I will just quickly summarize it, right? Someday we're going to teach it in depth, but let me summarize it. The fourth pillar is social validation. Social validation. What does that mean? Master how to engineer influence through networks and communities. The concept here is that authority is not built in isolation. You would never build authority in isolation. No. Authority scales through community-driven validation, right? For example, being part of tribes, being part of like the Global Remarkable Mentorship Group, being part of masterminds, and all of that. Because authority scales faster when peers and communities endorse your work organically. And I even thought we're going to do this very soon. We're going to find a day where we are going to partner and endorse each other in this group. We are almost 60 of us in this mentorship group. We're going to partner. We're going to take like 30 days. We're going to pick 2 people. These 2 people are going to create content around what they want the world to see. They create content and they share picture. Now imagine 60 people posting your picture and certain words about you on all the social media handles. This is where social validation comes in. You see, because authority scales faster when peers and communities endorse your work organically. So we're going to create a separate group for those who are interested. If people are interested, we're going to create a separate group and say, okay, for those who want to practice social validation, and I'm going to explain it, and then people join that group. And then you are going to create amazing content, nice content that if people share, it's going to make sense. And then you get your best picture, something that makes sense, and then you attach. Okay, when that's okay. Monday, we are promoting Durance and Melvis. So, okay, you know what? Everybody, 60 of us, 50 of us, everybody, you post Durance in the morning. Everybody, in that post. In the afternoon, everybody post Melvis in that post. And then Durance will go on those posts and begin to share. So thank you guys for posting me. Thank you guys for posting me. That's how our authority is going to skyrocket, not only on our various platforms, but also people that follow her begin to say, oh, she's being celebrated and she's being endorsed by all these leaders in their rights. Very powerful. Social validation. Why? Because authority scales faster when your peers and communities endorse your work and the thing that you do. Why? Because social proof from other people carries more weight than self-promotion. For example, I have almost 30,000 followers combined on my page and accounts on Facebook. I have almost 20,000, 25,000 on LinkedIn, all of that. You see, if I post you on those platforms, it is more important than you saying that I am a clinic owner in Yaoundé and I have the best clinic. No. Now, if I endorse you, because social proof from somebody else carries more weight than self-promotion. And that's where influence begins to compound, right? So people trust social proof over self-promotion. Why? Because validation creates perceived expertise. Now, how do you practice this quickly is, I've skipped some points under this so that we can run up in a few minutes. 5 steps to practice social validation. Number 1, create strategic alliances. Create strategic alliances. Like this is strategic alliance in this community. Create strategic alliances. You can create more beyond this. Like, for example, Judas can take the lead and say, you know what? I'm going to gather, nurses who are thinking ahead. And let's create a group of learning and endorsing each other. Strategic alliances, right? Number 2, get testimonials and endorsements. Social validation works effectively when you have testimonials and endorsements. So collect and showcase endorsements from people that you have served and even credible figures in your field. For example, if you can get a senior expert in your field that has some influence to endorse you, to write about you, to validate you, it's very important. Number three, we already spoke about that, community building, right? Intentionally build a community around your clients, around people that you serve, very important, right? Create and be part of niche communities where your audience can connect and validate your expertise and work with you. And of course, number four here is what I would like to call social proof stacking. Social proof stacking. What does that mean? Use metrics to demonstrate your influence. For example, use your followers. You can go do a graphic design and say, wow, like you see what people always do when they clock 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers, 10,000 followers, and they do a flyer and talk about it. They're practicing what I call social proof stacking. They're demonstrating influence. Oh, wow, 1,000 people follow me. When people see that, wow, others follows you, it demonstrates influence. Awards. If you have been able to have awards, you can talk about your awards. Right? I've been awarded an award on this. It shows, social validation. Media features. When you're being featured by a newspaper or you're on a TV, please take pictures, do screenshots, all of that, and share on your handles to demonstrate your influence. It's called social proof stacking. And then number five, what I call reciprocal influence. Reciprocal influence. Like what I was saying that we're going to do. Many people are not enjoying authority because they are too selfish. You cannot promote yourself. All right. So actively support others in your network to foster mutual validation. Sometimes just pick a day, pick somebody from this community, even before we do it. Just pick somebody that you're related, you're connected to. And say, you know what, I just want to write something nice about the work that this person is doing and promote on your, on your handle. Right? It's very important. So reciprocal influence. And when you begin to do that, others will do it for you. All right. And then lastly, number five, on how to build authority is what I call proof and case studies. Proof and case studies. Very important in building authority. What does this mean? Provide evidence of results that your uniqueness delivers transformation. Proof and case studies. Provide evidence of results that your solution, that your uniqueness delivers transformation. Because authority without proof is empty, it's no authority. True authority is that, hey, you create transformation in the lives of people that you serve, right? So, for example, stories of transformation are more powerful than statistics. So let's go to Misfa, who is doing weight loss programs and well-being programs and all of that. So she can start by taking permission from her people and say, hey, please, do you mind me tracking your journey and taking pictures so that I can be able to, someday we can see how far you have grown, and someday I can use your picture. I'm going to blur your face if you want, but I can use your picture to show that, what we do works. So you talk to them and you get stories of transformation. That is proof and case studies. Why? Because emotional proof is very powerful. Emotional proof is powerful. When you highlight transformational stories that evoke trust and aspiration, that is emotional proof. When people see what you've been able to do in the lives of your clients, it creates emotional proof. So what am I saying here? Emotional authority outweighs logical authority. Trying to logically convince somebody is easier. Let's say somebody enters your inbox and they're trying to buy your service. Instead of just trying to convince them with their words and statistics and numbers, just send them a 30 seconds video. Look at what I did to this lady. As simple as that. Look at this testimony. What do you think? It shifts a narrative somewhere, right? That is proof and case studies. Now, 5 steps to practice this, and we are done. 5 steps to practice proof, and case studies. Number one, results tracking. If you are going to succeed in proof and case study pillar, you must be very good at tracking results of the clients that you serve. So systematically document outcomes from the work that you do with your clients or with your projects. So results tracking. Number two, case study creation. Case study creation. Develop a detailed case study that showcase before and after transformation. That's a case study. Practical case study. This is where sometimes some of you, what you can do is that instead of doing videos, you can do a PowerPoint presentation and convert into a PDF. When you're having a discussion with the clients, you can show them, hey, look at this case study. I'm going to show you stories of 3 previous clients. Look at their before they meet me, look at their after meeting my solution. You see that? So you document every win. You capture client results, milestones, and feedback, and then you create a case study and use it in your presentation. Now, this is very important. Let me tell you something. If you have a premium offer, I'm talking about your most expensive offers, okay? Let's say, if you are here and you're thinking of increasing your pricing or charging more, one of the easiest ways to convince people to pay more is to practice proof and case studies I'm teaching you right now. Right? Very important. So, case study creation. Number 3, client spotlight. Client spotlight. Now, this can work with permission, where you don't just spotlight people like that. Make sure you get their permission, right? Let them be aware that, hey, I'm going to post a picture on social media so they are not surprised. Or you can blur their face and just maintain the voice if there's a voice, and other parts of the body, but blur the face if need be. But this can only work when you have permission and partnership with the client. But client spotlight, this is where you're featuring testimonials and success stories from diverse clients to build your credibility, right? Again, you're also using the before and after framework here, where you're using visual storytelling to showcase your clear and tangible changes. And then number 4 is data visualization. Data visualization. This is where you're using charts and graphs and visuals to make your results enjoyable. Let me give an example. Instead of, let's say, after Durance and Rahul, they have, updated their clinic to start serving high clients, and they have created that VIP section in their clinic. And then a senator, parliamentarian, mayor, or a rich guy from the community comes to them and say, hey, I want to make this clinic as my family clinic. He's a rich guy, influential, has money to pay you any amount of money that you demand to serve his family as their family clinic. But they need to be convinced that you have some track record. So instead of just saying that, we have been existing in the last 5 years and we have served 2,000 clients and 30% are women, all of that. No, break that content into charts, into graphs, so that when you're talking to them, you're showing them in a PowerPoint presentation, look, in the last 5 years, they see a nice pie chart, a nice graph, or something visual showing something that they can see. These guys know what they're doing, right? So in the last 5 years, we have served 1,000 clients from 15 communities, 30% are women, 70% are men, or 20% are children, and all of that. And out of all of these clients, we receive 100% feedback that they're doing fine, and you can show them, reviews of what clients are saying about your clinic. You show him in a visualization that is data-driven, that they will see and understand, right? Very important. And then point number 5 under this 5-step process is what I call proof stacking. Proof stacking. This is where you're combining quantitative data, qualitative stories, and even third-party validation for maximum impact. Proof stacking. So you combine data. You combine stories. You combine external validation. Let's say you are featured on a newspaper. You combine data that you produce results. You combine stories of your clients. You combine, a newspaper validation, and you form one document. So you can have a PowerPoint presentation where in that one PowerPoint, somebody sees data of their impact. In that PowerPoint, they see 3 stories of clients before and after transformation. In that PowerPoint, you have screenshots of you being featured in newspaper. It's called proof stacking. If you present that kind of document presentation anywhere, they will trust you. They see data, they see stories, and they see external validation from newspaper. You see that very powerful strategy, going to help you a lot. So those are the 5-step process that you can use to practice pillar number 5 when it comes to proof and case studies implementation. To round up, one thing I want to say about all this authority acceleration framework is that if you will notice what I call the interconnectedness of the pillars. For example, you will notice that these levers, these 5 pillars are not isolated. They work in a synergy kind of thing. For example, you will notice that thought leadership will work very well with strategic presence, and at the same time work very well with social proof. Validation by social proof. You see that interconnectedness, right? So when you're implementing this framework, begin to think, how will my thought leadership practice? How will I make sure that there's that fusion with my online strategic presence? And how can I tap into my validation by social proof to enhance my thought leadership? So you're doing what I call ecosystem thinking. Don't think independently. No, how can you combine all of these to have massive success? So that's why I said the notes that you're taking from these are notes that will last you the next 30 years in practice. Some of you, there are some things that will happen in your career, in your business 5 years from now. You're like, hey, Dr. Jobe taught us this, because this strategy is future oriented. It's not only present oriented. I have thought about it, how it can work 30 years from now. I have analyzed it, thought about it, and I've seen how it can work 30 years from now, 20 years from now, 15 years from now, 5 years from now. Okay? So this was so much, 2 hours of teaching, deep insights shared, and I can guarantee you, none of you have consumed 20% of what I've shared. So what am I saying? You need to go back and go through this teaching again, take down notes, have a playbook. One of the things I'm trying to do is that I want to give you a playbook of your own, so that there's a time in your career, in your business, and you're stranded, you open your journal. Please have journals that when you travel, they go with you. I have my journals that anywhere I go, they go with me, because in those journals are weapons of dominion, weapons of fighting. If you can, I have some of these things documented in my Google Drive, where as long as I have my phone, my internet, I can access strategies I developed 5 years ago, and I will read them again and say, oh, how can I apply this in this season? Because they are weapons. People that win in life, they do not win by guesswork. They have weapons in their toolbox that they use. And I'm giving you playbooks, strategic playbooks that you can use for that to happen. All right. Tomorrow, same time. I don't need that much because it's not a very long strategy framework like what we have today. Tomorrow, we will cover what I call the anti-commoditization model. Okay, I'm going to break it down. Very important model. The anti-commoditization model framework on how to unlock your value and increase your influence, your impact, and of course, your wealth creation. It will be very practical, straight to the point. It's not a long framework, very easy to implement, but very powerful if you execute it. And we will do that until I teach you guys all the 7 frameworks. And I know that with all that I've given you, you have no choice. You are forbidden to fail in this life. You fail in this life and you go to heaven, Jesus will be like, why did you disappoint me when I gave you all that you need through my servants? All right. All right. Any questions so far? Let me stop recording and let's do family meeting for a few minutes.